Okay, now we'll talk about distance and midpoints. This is something that we did quite a long time ago. So distance formula, of course, distance is between 2 points. So this is always between 2 points. Okay. So distance formula, so distance is going to be equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus our y's minus each other squared. Now midpoint is a little bit different, so it's going to be our x's added to each other and then the average of those, so divide by 2, and then we have to do the y, so y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Now these are always coordinates, so x and the y, that's what they're going to equal to. Okay, so here we go. So we want to find the distance and midpoint for this one. So the first thing we need to do is we need to say, all right, 3 is an x, so we're going to let this be the x1, 4 is a y, that's y1, x2, y2. So our first x, first y, second x, second y. All right, so I'm going to do distance first. So distance is equal to the square root of x2, which is -1, minus 3 squared plus 10 minus 4 squared. Alright, now I can go calculator, you can go Desmos, or you can go calculator. So second square root, -1 minus 3 squared plus 10 minus 4 squared. And we get about 7.2. So roughly 7.2 units. Alright, now we're going to do midpoint. So that was distance. Now we'll do midpoint. So I'm going to take my x's. So I'm going to do 3 plus -1 divided by 2. And then I'm going to take my y, so 4 plus 10 divided by 2. Alright, so we're going to do one at a time now. So just one at a time. So I'm going to do this one first. So 3 plus -1, enter. So I get 2, and then divided by 2. So the answer is 1. So that's 1. And now I'm going to come here and do the same for this one. So 4 plus 10, that gives me 14. 14 divided by 2, 7. So this is 7. And that's the middle of those points. So 1, 7. Alright, we'll do one more. So this one, we don't have any points, so we need to get them off the graph. So we need to know the coordinates of P, and we need to know the coordinates of Q. Alright, so P is at -1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So -3, -4. And Q's at 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 5. Alright, so we got x1, y1, second x, second y. So we'll do distance first. So 2 minus -3 squared plus 5 minus -4 squared. Usually we have to round for these, so we'll type this in. So second square root, parentheses, 2 minus -3 squared plus 5 minus -4 squared. About 10.3 units. Okay. Next up, we got to do midpoint. So midpoint, that's going to be our x's plus each other. So -3 plus 2 divided by 2. And then -4 plus 5 divided by 2. Alright, so -3 plus 2, enter. -1 divided by 2, negative 0.5. So negative 1/2. And then go to the next one, negative 4 plus 5, divide that by 2, positive 0.5. That's it. So negative 0.5 and positive 0.5. All right. Okay, so you've got 2 down here you need to do. We will turn, and then you got some more on the next page, distance and midpoint. And now I'm going to turn to the last page and talk about partitioning. So partitioning just means to split into sections. So when you find midpoint, you're splitting them into 2 sections. So partitioning can be more than 2 sections. All right, so here we go. So a line segment has endpoints, this. What is the x coordinate of the point that is 2/3 of the way from R to S on this line segment? All right, so 2/3. All right. So we want to go 2/3 of the way. So 2/3 of the way from R. All right, so here we go. So it's a bit of a process. So we need to find the distance of x. So we look at our x's. So here's x1 and here's x2. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract those. So 4 minus negative 2. 4 minus negative 2 is 6. All right. So 6 is the total distance of the x, but we only want to go 2/3 of the way. So now we're going to multiply this by 2/3. Get 4. All right, I'm going to save that number for a second. All right, now we need to do distance of y. So I go to my y. So y1, y2, so 1 minus negative 2. And that is 3. This should always be a positive number here because it's talking about distance. So that's 3. But that's the total distance. Now we're going to multiply this by 2/3. And we get the 2/3 from here. So 3 times 2/3. 3 times 2/3 is 2. Okay. So from R, so we go back to R, and R was negative 2, negative 2. All right, now if we're going from x to this x, we're adding. That's getting bigger. So we're going to add the x. That's 4. And if we look at our y's, we're going negative 2 to 1. That's also adding. So now we're going to add this 2. All right, so negative 2 plus 4, that's 2. And negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So our answer is 2, 0. Okay. All right, so now this is a similar problem. And that's how we do it, guys. So you got 3 down here. Try. They're almost see how we do.